Here's what we're gonna do. I've got some questions,
Yeah.
and you're gonna answer with one of your Game of Thrones co-stars and tell me why you made the pick.
Okay.
All right? If you were to make a comedy, which of your Game of Thrones stars are you casting immediately opposite you?
Oh, that's tough. Maybe LENA HEADEY,
Is this some trick?
because she's got a really great comic side that you don't maybe get to see as CERSEI so much, but she's funny.
I don't think it's serious at all. I think it's another bad joke.
Who do you go to for romantic advice?
Probably Michelle FAIRLEY,
You've done so well.
because she's really smart and compassionate.
All right, sound advice, or she gives
Yeah,
you like...
brilliant advice. No, she'd tell you how it is.
I remember the day you came into this world, red-faced and scrawling.
You need a place to stay. Who's the person you call for a couch to crash on?
Probably Kit.
I have to go home now.
Why Kit?
Because we probably just get drunk and have a good old chat.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Didn't know where to put it. I know where to put it.
And then I guess that leads me perfectly into the last question. Who would you lose to in a drinking competition?
I don't really think I'd lose to many of them.
Come on. Is there someone that would literally see you head to head?
I think Liam Cunningham and I would keep up with each other.
No matter how thirsty you get, don't drink seawater.
All the way?
Yeah, he's a big, broad guy, yeah.
When the battle comes, promise you'll protect me.
I promise.